we're getting fucked up. Get the fuck out of here, cigar, you bitch. Yeah. Alright, so I kind of wanted to go over my Raynor build that I've been using. So I've gone into the shop and gone into single player test mode here to just kind of go over the build that I use. Now, quick disclaimer, I did not come up with this build. You can get this build off Heroes Fire. It's a great build. It offers a lot of survivability. You know, for the most part, as you know, if you've watched my stream at all, when I play Raynor, I have pretty good success of getting away from enemies and surviving. So that said, I do want to say I did not come up with this build. This is not something I came up with on my own. However, as I'm going along, I'm coming up with ideas, you know, things to do differently in unique situations. So that said, I did want to say that. However, obviously this build is pretty linear. It goes straight hero killing, which is what assassins are meant to do to begin with. So obviously different situations call for different talents. So this build is strictly hero killing. This is not jungling, this is not siege damage, this is just strict damage on the heroes. So I do want to point that out. So here we go. Alright, so for level 1, obviously if you've watched my stream at all, you've seen that I've gotten away with Adrenaline Rush pretty frequently. So obviously that's talent number 1. That's pretty much a no-brainer in early game to push. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and toggle some minions here so we can get bots going, so I can show you how this works a little bit. I'm going to put myself in a situation where Arthas is going to take me out. I'm going to target him.
Sounds like a plan.
And it doesn't seem to be working. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and level up to the next talent. Oops. Hit the wrong button there. Okay, so we're going to level up to level 4. Now for level 4, you got a pretty good selection of talents. You got Focus Attack, which is every 10 seconds your next basic attack deals 50% additional damage. Vampiric Assault, basic attacks heal you. That's kind of like a strong number 2 for me. Adrenaline Rush obviously can be used more frequently. However, I have not found the need to use it as often as that would necessitate. So I do agree with the build on Heroes Fire that you should definitely use Focused Attack for your second talent. Every 10 seconds your next basic attack deals 50% additional damage. Basic attacks reduces cooldown by 1 second. So basically every time you're attacking, you're reducing cooldowns, and just on that talent. So I'm going to let those two duke it out here. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next level here, to level 7.
Choose a talent.
Alright, so level 7. This is seems like your survivability talents. So you got penetrating round slows. Obviously in a situation where heroes are pursuing you and it's a constant thing, this would be good. Revolution Overdrive, you gain 10% movement speed when using Inspire, plus an additional 5% for each ally hero inspired. This is great in team fighting, because if you start to lose the match, you can dole out the movement speed, or the attack speed, sorry, to everybody else, and then you can get the movement speed based off of that. So I always pick Revolution Overdrive. Adrenaline Rush, removing movement impairing effects. I haven't had much issue with movement impairment, especially if I'm using Revolution Overdrive, so I don't worry about that much. And then Mercenary Lord, I don't really see the need for that, honestly. So we're going to go Revolution Overdrive on that. We're going to go ahead and level up to 10, so we can get our ultimates here. This is where it gets fun for me, because in my personal opinion, I don't see a lot of use for Hyperion. And I'm not saying that just because this is the build that's dictated on Heroes Fire. I've gotten a lot of kills with Raynor's Raiders. Haven't had a lot of success with the Hyperion, So I strongly recommend the Banshees in any scenario you could find yourself in. Realistically, I think the only scenario you could find yourself in using Hyperion would be like Dragonshire if you're trying to stop, you know, the enemies from capping the Dragonite, or I'm trying to think here, you know, any scenario where you'd have to physically cap something. That would be good for that if you're just trolling, trying to stop them from capping. However, if you're strictly going hero killing, in any other scenario, you definitely want Raynor's Raiders. For instance, I'm going to drop those down on Arthas here and show you. So they stay cloaked, and they do a pretty significant amount of damage. And one thing you can do is you can hit R again and re-target something. So now I've got him targeting that left tower there. So Banshees definitely have a lot of versatility. They have a lot more abilities to kind of skirt enemy defenses and take out enemy heroes, even after you've died. So that's always a good thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and level up to 13 here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and... this one to me is a no-brainer as well. You've got, you know, your choice of 4 talents as usual. The first one is Giant Killer. It empowers your attacks against enemy heroes. Penetrating Round gives a second charge. This would be good in a situation, again, like I said earlier, with the one talent to get away with Revolution Overdrive here. This would be good for survivability, so that way you can kind of push your enemies back even further if you're team fighting and you start losing. Steel Resolve. I haven't had a lot of experience with that one. It increases Inspire's duration and causes Adrenaline Rush to also apply Inspire, so that's kind of cool. You know, I'm kind of working into a build that I'm currently working on now, so I'll have more details on that later. Putting on a Clinic. Whenever an enemy you've recently damaged is destroyed, your ability cooldowns reduced by 1.5 seconds. This would be good in later game when you're team fighting and you're all grouped up. However, at this point in the game, I don't see a lot of use for it, so we're going to go ahead and stick with the hero killing. Just strictly the hero assassination stuff, so we're going to go with Giant Killer on that talent. So as you can see here, my basic attacks are critting pretty hard on Arthas right there. Pretty frequently here. And as you can see, I can take him out with pretty relative ease on that. Now granted, this is bots, so in a real life situation, that could go a little differently. So let's go ahead and move up to level 16.
Choose a talent.
Alright, so level 16, you've got quite a slew of choices here. And again, this is a build strictly for hero killing and survivability. With just a hint of survivability. So I always the build that is is stated as you want to choose Berserk, which increases your attack speed by 40% and movement speed by 10% for 4 seconds. That has saved my ass on more than one occasion in conjunction with Adrenaline Rush. So we're gonna go ahead and pick that. I'm gonna go drop Banshees on Arthas here. As you can see, a lot of damage coming out of the gate. I'm gonna go ahead and pop Berserk. And he got away, but as you can see, the Banshees can get him behind enemy lines. So that, again, that reinforces the idea that the Raiders are much better in most situations than the Hyperion. I've seen a lot of people use the Hyperion. Granted, I haven't been paying a lot of attention in those matches simply because I've been focused on my stuff. But I haven't seen a lot of deaths come from the Hyperion, and it just really depends on your situation, what you're going for in that particular match, especially if you're grouped up with friends. I usually specialize in the hero killing. I'm usually the only straight up assassin in the group, so that's pretty much that's my thing right there. So that's why I always go with the Banshees. Everything. So that's enough about the Banshees. Let's go ahead and move on to the last level and the last talent that you get here. That's at level 20. Level 20, you just kind of get some additional things. You get a card to play, Heroic Death, slower Heroic cooldown. That's pretty good. Obviously, that's good in team fighting if you guys are pushing real hard or whatever. Duskwings, I haven't had a lot of experience with this one. Banshees remain cloaked while attacking and fire 50% more frequently. That would be good in a scenario where you're trying to kill enemies behind their lines. You can set the Banshees on them. The towers, you know, detectors, whatever, wouldn't decloak them. So you could push an advantage that way. Bolt of the Storm, that's good for, you know, porting around. You don't get a lot of good out of that unless you're kind of like, I use that a lot as a Gara or Nazebo, kind of like a specialist, just to kind of get out of there in a very quick situation. However, for this build, we choose Nexus Frenzy. Increases attack speed by 20% and attack range by 20%. This in conjunction with Inspire and Berserk can dole out a lot of damage fairly quickly. Always a good thing there. So that's pretty much it for my Raynor build. Again, like I wanted to say in the beginning of the video, this is not a build I came up with on my own. However, as I play Raynor more, I'm gaining more experience with him, and I'm learning to understand what he's built for and what he can do. I know he's been nerfed recently, so I don't know how a lot of other people feel about Raynor, but I personally enjoy playing as Raynor. He's pretty straightforward. I like ranged. I like being able to stay out of the enemy's attacks. So to me, Raynor's like my favorite character so far. I play a lot of assassin characters, and Raynor's probably one of my favorites. So I'm getting more experience, and as I go, I'm gonna kind of come up with my own little build. And once I do and finalize it, I will post a video on that as well. So thanks for watching, and you guys have a good one.